Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. Just having a walk down memory lane with my next guest. We used to go see Buffalo Bills games together, and now we're sitting in a studio talking about his fabulous children's books. I am joined by Bruce R. Foster from Sanfos Educational Counseling Services, and also a principal author. Welcome.
Thank you very much,
here, Bruce.
Pleased to be here.
Bruce, yeah, of course. I know that recently you've been called back to do that job that you love as a principal. But tell me about yourself as an author. When did this come into your life?
Well, I guess about 7 years ago, I started with my first book about bus safety. All the stories, Derek, are based on true stories that have occurred while I've been in the privileged role of principal, right? So it started about 7 years ago, and it continues. My 7th children's book will be probably coming out in the next 9 months. My illustrator, and I'm blessed to have a fabulous illustrator.
Yeah, I'm going to show some of this.
Joshua Stewart, young man, lives in St. Eugene, Ontario, just east of Van Cleek Hill. His illustrations, I mean, I do the text, that's okay, but illustrations make children's books, they really do.
Yeah.
And I can't say enough about Josh Stewart, who's done my last 4 books, and will do the next one. Very vibrant, very multicultural, and certainly doing quite well in the world of literacy.
I love it. They are beautifully done. Let's talk about this particular book. It's called Christina's Fundraiser. Tell me the inspiration behind this.
Well, I used to, and I use her name. Mom gave me permission and everything else, of course. Christina Kager was a little girl at Trillium Elementary School where I was principal, and she had ALL, which is a form of leukemia.
Okay.
And the good news is she's healthy now, but back when she was 7, she wasn't too healthy. So her brother and several other students came to see me about holding a fundraiser for CHEO, kind of in honor of Christina, who was undergoing a lot of stuff at the time. So we did that. And, oh goodness, we involved a number of grade 4 or 5 students. We had buttons printed by one of our local high schools and one of our communications classes. And it worked out quite favorably. And I forget how much money the school raised, but more importantly, it brought more awareness to a health condition.
Right.
Now, I'm led to believe Christina graduated from Sir Wilfrid Laurier High School last year and wants to follow in her father's footsteps and be an electrician.
Nice.
So it's
Congratulations, Christina. What a great story.
Yes.
And the philanthropy side of this is proceeds went to CHEO, right?
A portion of the sale go to CHEO Foundation. Worked with Alex Munter on that. He's well aware of it and everything else. So, yeah, it's going quite well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at another story. Tell me about this one here.
Well, that one is dual language as well. I didn't point out to you,
that's
Derek,
right.
the first book is English and French together, which is quite an advantage. You know, if you have a couple who are, one's Francophone, the other's Anglophone, they can read to the child in their language that they prefer. Well, once again, Josh illustrated this is about Haunted Halloween. This event occurred at one of my schools as well. And just a day that got rocked a little bit when the fire alarm got pulled, and we had to have the firefighters there during Halloween. You know, the old trick-or-treat axiom. Well, anyway, that worked out okay too.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, and each of the books, I might add, has a kids' help phone scenario in it.
Oh, excellent. That's something you're really passionate about,
I'm huge.
Why? Why that particular organization?
Well, because for years I love all kids, but I think the ones who are disadvantaged and having some issues need that support. So I've had that kids' help phone number up in my schools probably as principal for 15, 18 years. Now, of course, children can text as well. It's 24/7, 365. So some of the monies that I'm able to glean through the sale of books, I give back, and they hire private counselors, trained counselors who help the kids.
They've done such wonderful work.
Yeah.
This one is Christmas events at Kool's school. What's the storyline behind this one?
Well, these events occurred at Pleasant Corners Public School, where Joshua Stewart, my illustrator, went as a student. And essentially it talks about the week prior to Christmas holidays, where children are making gingerbread houses, and we had a quilting bee going on with volunteers coming in and showing the kids. We had a bistro with our grade 7 and 8 students holding a lunch for some of the staff. Just some of the wonderful things that go on in schools. And I was very pleased because Pleasant Corners School was a school where I got my initial taste of teaching. I was hired by Principal Ed Kelly and Al Dunsmore, and career got off to a rousing start.
Is there a common theme throughout the books that you write, Bruce?
Other than lessons learned. Every book, Derek, has a lessons learned component, whether it's someone learning to be better, more safe out of the buses, or someone being a little less or more vigilant and not saying rude comments or bullying students. Or so there's always that little underlying theme.
This one looks a little different than the rest of them. Tell me about this one.
Yeah, well, that one's for old guys like you and me. That's that's for principals. It's not a children's book, but it's my most recent book. I believe and strongly support the fact that our principals, to be effective, whether they're in Ontario, Canada, Kansas City, have to be present, i.e. out at the buses, the vans, in the classrooms, in the yard, if it's elementary students.
Did you feel we were getting away from that, Bruce? Is that why?
I think it's an area we all have to work on.
Okay.
And it's some principals are quite busy. I've always been blessed. In most of my schools, I've had a vice principal.
Right.
And they, when I'm outside at recess or in the classrooms, they're handling some of the other, events that occur. And but some principals who don't have a vice principal, you're outside a lot. Well, then you got to deal with all the other stuff. But a lot of that can be done before school starts, Derek, and after school.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's an advantage. You get to know the children, and you see them in a different light.
Yeah.
And you know what? They quite appreciate it.
Great philosophy, Bruce. And come on back when you write your seventh book, and then that's released. We'll be right back after this.
I'd love to. Thanks very much.